What's going on? We're going to be learning some criminal procedure. Let's get rocking. Happy 4th of July, everybody, by the way. No, I have a lazy eye. This is a lazy eye. So I wear this eye because it makes this eye stronger.
Right now, Deputy Miller's pulled over this vehicle that was passing in a no passing zone. And he pulled over here for some oddball reason. And once he got up there and talking to him, detected odor of alcohol.
Reasonable suspicion. Why the individual was pulled over. He was pulled over for passing in a non-passing lane. Then, when in the process of pulling over, the individual pulled off, not just onto the side of the road, but pretty much pulled into like the grass median. Very weird spot. Very weird spot. Probably he's not thinking right. Pulls up to the car, strong odor of alcohol. So you can make the inference that the individual passed the car, pulled over to the weird spot, and with the smell of alcohol because they'd been drinking. Okay, so that is what the officer's thinking, right, for the criminal procedure.
So we're about to do some field sobriety task here in just a second.
I was just tired of that guy just anyway.
If you find yourself in the situation to give a field sobriety test, what do you do, chat? What do you do, chat? I'm going to give you one shot. Police officer says, I am making you do a field sobriety test. I think you're impaired. What do you say? You tell them no. I do not consent to a field sobriety test. Field sobriety tests are rigged. You're gonna lose. Even if you're sober, you're gonna lose a field sobriety test. Do not do a field sobriety test if you're in that situation. Even if you're sober, especially if you're sober, do not do a field sobriety test. Great learning opportunity right here. He's doing an nystagmus test. He is going to be following the eye movements, right, of the pin. And I'm sorry I'm doing it bad because I'm trying to look at the camera. He's going to be looking for the eyes to be jumping. He's going to be looking for them to be moving quickly. Okay? He's going to be looking for stuff like that. How far can they go? The field of vision, right? He's going to be, can the eyes turn the 45 degrees or whatever the degree is, right? He's going to be looking for all of that. But what is wrong with this test? Okay? What is wrong with this test? First of all, you're doing it in a field under very different conditions. You're overgeneralizing everybody. I have a lazy eye. I was just wearing an eye patch for the lazy eye, right? Let's just say the officer is giving me the nystagmus test. What's he going to see? He's going to see my eye slowly get lazy. I don't know if it's going to be lazy for you guys. Yeah, look, do you see that? He's going to see that, and he's going to assume I'm drunk. Officer who's not a doctor, who's in the field, busting his butt all day or her butt all day, tired, doesn't know what to look for, has probably been not trained on this recently, learned this for like a day in, sheriff's school. Again, no disrespect. I have a lot of officers who are friends of mine, who are mentors of mine. And what's he going to see when he does this to me? He's going to see the lazy eye, failed nystagmus test, round me up, boom, I'm going to jail even though I'm completely sober. Never consent. Just say, officer, do what you got to do. If I got to go to jail, I got to go to jail. But I'm going to win in court. Your night might be miserable. You might spend the night in jail. That might suck. But do not consent. Especially if you're sober. Especially if you're sober. All right? He fell over. He was wobbling. You tried doing that. That's hard. Add it then with the pressure of having cops watching you, knowing if you mess up, you're going to jail. Of course you're going to sway. Of course you're going to lose your balance. This guy, to his credit, again, if he's drunk, definitely not commending drinking while driving. I think that's terrible. It's dangerous. I sue people. I sue drunk drivers all the time. I'm a personal injury lawyer. To this guy's credit so far, he's not slurring his words. He's got it together. He's talking a little bit too much, and he's agreed to do the field sobriety test, which he shouldn't have. But other than that, he seems okay. He is not admitted to drinking too much. He's failed that test because he fell over. Not advocating for this guy. He might be drunk. He might be drunk. But had this guy just shut up, not consented to anything, there would be a whole lot less evidence against him. Okay, for the sake of this video, let's assume that they were pulled over lawfully. They had reasonable suspicion to pull them over. Once you get pulled over, there's a smell of marijuana in the car. However, it's important to note, at least in most states, And again, I'm not sure about Florida. So again, we're just working on presumptions. Smell alone is not enough to corroborate somebody or give probable cause to search the car. So probably somebody talked, right? Or that's what we're going to assume, okay? Or maybe they were driving impaired and that maybe like the bad driving corroborated with the smell to give them, an opportunity to search the car. Normally, you need a warrant to search, right? The police need a warrant to search you, to search your house. However, there is an exception. It's called the automobile exception, where the police do not need a warrant to search your car so long as they have probable cause. Let me rephrase what I'm saying. I might not be clear. Again, I'm confusing everybody. I'm sorry. I'm retracting my statements. My criminal procedure brain is coming back to me. They can use the dog to sniff the car, the outsides of the car. And if it indicates that it has picked up the smell of marijuana, it can then notify the police officer, giving them probable cause where they can then search the inside of the car. So, common tactic. So the dog notified positively, giving him probable cause to search the car, right? So, what did the police officer do? He goes and he talks to the guy. If you are ever in that situation, again, not advocating for having any drugs in your car. I actually advise against it. Never talk to the police when you're in that situation, right? Just say, hey, officer, not talking without my lawyer. You do your thing, not giving you any help one way or the other, right? That's what you have to do.
Aren't you supposed to ask me if you're supposed to search my car?
What's that?
This is my car.
Okay.
Aren't you supposed to ask me?
No, ma'am. I don't have to. My dog alerted on the vehicle. I got probable cause. Go ahead and stand back over.
He absolutely right. That's what we were just talking about. You do not need consent to search the car under the automobile exception to a warrantless search because the dog alerted to the smell of marijuana or any other type of drug paraphernalia, therefore giving the officer probable cause, meaning they can search the car.
Ooh, yeah, it's in here somewhere. There you go.
Yeah? Which one is this? Who's
Let's see. Let me try to find a name. Oh, and a gun.
And a gun?
Nope.
Loaded?
Yeah.
So, purse is that? Sure. It's not good when you got firearm and drugs to go. There might be something you want to tell the police about before we find it.
Honestly,
You forgot you had a pistol with gun? With drugs?
It's my dad's pistol. He let me take it for sure.
For her sake, she needs to be quiet. Be respectful. Be quiet.
It's not a high gram amount accompanied with the firearm is where it definitely becomes a problem.
Exactly. It adds, becomes aggravated, right?
This call, it's at a strip club, and apparently we have the manager from another strip club down the road that went to this strip club to confront a gentleman about trying to pass off fake money to his dancers. We're going to check on the money to see if that's counterfeit and then find out who's trying to pass that.
Okay, there's a lot going on here. Okay, so you have an individual from another strip club calling about a rival strip club. Instantly, maybe there's a conflict of interest there. We don't know. Okay. Next, we have an allegation of counterfeit money. So that's automatically probably going to give, probably reasonable suspicion, right? To go and observe the premises, maybe even check out a few dollars. Definitely not seize anything just yet because they don't know. But that tip alone, it is corroborated by somebody who might have a conflict of interest, which maybe doesn't give it to the level of reasonable suspicion. But again, that's a very, very low standard. Okay, so we're just gonna wait and see how this plays out.
Okay, so he came in the club, handed off the money to a dancer. Mm-hmm. She came up to me, asked me to check it. It's all counterfeit. He left the club right away. I messaged other clubs, find out if he's there. All I knew was his description. They said he was here 2 minutes after he left our.
So why didn't you call us right away?
I did.
No, when you were over there before you come over here to confront somebody, that's what we're here for.
They came over here and they rushed over here and they circled me like 7 deep, and they were like, they came out and they said that I was giving out fake money, right? So I said, listen, if that was a situation, I will pay it back as a good citizen. I am sorry. You know what I mean?
Okay.
In that type of view.
Hey, real quick question. What's your social now?
I'm 5'9".
49.
No, give me a bad social. All right, come on over to my car. We'll get that here
I'll
in a
grab
second.
that. Don't worry about it.
Yes, sir.
So we're looking here.
If you are under reasonable suspicion, and this guy's probably under reasonable suspicion just based on the testimony of the other guy. Again, very low standard. Once you're under reasonable suspicion, the police can temporarily detain you to further investigate to see if they maybe have probable cause to arrest you. So they're allowed to talk to you. They're allowed to detain you, meaning you're not, normal person would not feel free to leave, right? And then once they detain you, that you have to ID yourself, right? You do. If they don't have reasonable suspicion, it's going to depend on the state. Some states you still have to ID yourself. Some states you don't. However, this guy clearly had reasonable suspicion to be detained because of the testimony given, and maybe the bills that they were initially checking out. And then once you get ID'd, he gave a bad social security number. So failing to identify yourself or willingly giving a bad social security number, that's probably a crime. It's probably a crime. It's probably enough to arrest him on the spot because he's probably violating the failure to ID law, and that's probable cause giving a fake social security number.
This counterfeit money, and we can tell, just one of the ways I can tell right now is that it doesn't have the strip going through it that you need to have, and it has a different texture. It's a lot thicker. It feels like there's like 2 bills like taped together, and a lot of times what they'll do is they'll print each side on a piece of paper, and they'll actually cut them out and then glue them together back to back. It's obviously a crime to pass counterfeit money, and then it's a crime to have so much of it in your possession.
What if the friends that I was with, what if it was passed, what if it was passed through them, through the night, and came into my pocket? How could I be in trouble for that?
Wait a minute, somebody passed something into your pocket without your knowledge?
No, I'm saying the counterfeit money that you guys found, how could it be pinpointed on me? I never had it in my possession.
You just said, what if it came into my pocket?
The only thing that I had in my possession
Possession
was that $10 bill that they said came up. That's how could I be arrested for counterfeit money?
Look, you're in hot water. Okay, you're in the back of a cop car. This isn't where you want to be tonight. Let me finish before you even start, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I gave you the respect. Give me the respect.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? So then we shut the door, and then now you're like, you know what? They do have footage, and they do have witnesses of me throwing that under the car, so maybe I want to be a little bit more honest.
What more can I say? It's like I'm giving you the honest truth.
All right. Maybe when you get to the jail and he sees the doors, he'll decide to start talking a little bit more. We're gonna go over to Lollipops, the other strip club, and we're gonna have the dancer come out, and we're gonna bring our offender over there in the cop car. We're gonna light him up so that she can see him and he cannot see her because she's our victim, and she's gonna be able to tell us if that's the individual that passed the fake money to her, and also they deprived her of $13. So she'll be our victim for the petty theft.
Petty theft. What probably happened is the guy gave her a fake 20 and he wanted change, right? So he gave her 20, she gave 13 back, but he gave her a fake 20, she gave her 13 back. Again, petty theft. Another charge.
We're just waiting for the dancer to come out. Hopefully clothed.
Come on down
right
this
on
way.
down here, okay? Yeah. Right this way. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now this guy, obviously he's in handcuffs, okay, for a different crime. I just want you to give us your honest opinion, okay? So that's him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we get a positive?
Yep.
Okay. He's asking to speak with me one-on-one now, so obviously
he's gonna
Do not speak. Do not speak. This guy just keeps talking.
Right now we have to keep it.
So he's going to be arrested for the possession of the counterfeit currency.
Chat, what are your
and then
thoughts?
He's also going to be arrested for
What
the
are your
petty
thoughts,
theft from
chat?
her because he had given her fake money and she gave him real money in exchange for that. So he's going to be going for both of those. Alrighty.
signal 0 and hung up.
Well, it's gonna be Chris. It is. It's a relatively common call we get from this complainant. She likes to fabricate stories trying to get her family put in jail. One of her family members tried to...
All right, so what does that tell you? It says that they know this complainant. You heard the police officers say that this person calls regularly. And every time she calls, it's kind of the same story. She tries to put one of her family members in jail by fabricating a story. So what does that tell the police officer? Well, instantly they are going into the scenario, you know, kind of this idea or this preconceived notion that it's a made up story, meaning they might not necessarily have reasonable suspicion to, you know, maybe perform a Terry pat down, or they certainly don't have probable cause at this point to arrest anybody. So they have to go corroborate everything that's going on. And, you know, let's just keep going, see what happens. So no gunshots.
But it was coming from over there.
All right, so I'm confused, right? Because then they say there's a lady who's fabricating stories. If somebody was cutting down trees, okay, and the officer's right, which is a civil matter, you cannot self-help yourself. Even if they were on this guy's property, and those trees were that guy's property, self-defense of property with a deadly weapon is never acceptable. I don't care if it's on your property, right? Because the law prioritizes life over property. And so long as this individual's life was not threatened or in any danger, you cannot use deadly force. You cannot try to shoot at somebody because they are messing with your property so long as your life is not in danger. Even in states where, quote unquote, there's a stand your ground law. All stand your ground means is you don't have the duty to retreat if you're on your property or at your work or in your somewhere that's deemed like a castle, right? The castle doctrine that everybody says. That doesn't mean you're justified to use deadly force just because you're at that location. You need a reasonably objective fear of imminent bodily harm, grievous bodily harm. So just because these people were on property trying to cut down trees, those facts alone do not justify the use of a firearm getting taken to jail. Whether it's a firearm or trying to run someone over with a truck, that is deadly force, right? Deadly force. I don't know where this... I'm a little confused on what's going on as well, right? Because they said firearm, gunshot. Apparently that's not the case. Deadly force is more appropriate, okay? What can we learn? Obviously, this guy is confessing. What should we take away from him? If you are ever in custody of the police, you should never speak without your lawyer. This guy is talking. He's giving evidence. He's admitting to the whole thing. If you're ever in detention, if you're ever being arrested, shut up. When you arrest somebody, and there's clearly enough, there's probable cause to arrest him based on the tire tracks and based on his evidence, right? What he has said. There's clearly probable cause to arrest him. When you arrest somebody, you're allowed to conduct something called a SITLA, a search incident to a lawful arrest. That's what they are doing here, a SITLA. They're patting him down. They're trying to find what is on him before they put him in jail. They've already arrested him. He is detained. But before they take him away, they can pat him down. Search incident to a lawful arrest, SITLA.
We took him into custody for aggravated assault, and we're going to continue the investigation.
Here's the deal. Aggravated assault gets elevated from just normal assault when you have a deadly weapon. In this case, his deadly weapon was the car, okay?